Here's a rewritten and rephrased version of your article. It keeps the original message and energy, while organizing it into a more structured, readable format with a refined tone. Let me know if you want it toned up or down further. Fox News hosts call out Trump's economic policies. Yes, really, it's not every day you see Fox News personalities pushing back on Republican officials, but here we are. Even they're starting to question just how damaging the Trump administration's economic approach has become. During a recent segment, one host criticized the administration's obsession with the trade deficit, pointing out something economists have been saying for years: trade deficits are not inherently bad. If the US economy is growing faster than others, of course we'll import more. That naturally leads to trade deficits, the host said. But why are we using trade deficits to justify sweeping tariffs on nearly every country we trade with? It's a fair question, especially considering how Trump has used trade imbalances as a sign that America is being ripped off. In reality, a trade deficit simply means that Americans are buying more from abroad than we're selling. That's not theft, it's demand. To make this clearer, let's use an example. Madagascar produces 80% of the world's vanilla. The US doesn't produce vanilla. We need vanilla. So, we buy it from Madagascar. But Madagascar, one of the poorest countries on Earth, doesn't buy much from the US. Not because they're trying to cheat us, but because they can't afford our expensive goods. That's not exploitation. That's economics. But Trump slapped a 47% tariff on Madagascar anyway, because we import more from them than they do from us. And here's what happens: we still need vanilla, and Madagascar is still the main supplier. So we'll keep buying it, but now at a much higher cost. Why? Because tariffs are not paid by foreign governments. They're taxes on US importers, which are then passed directly onto American consumers. That's you and me. So the only result of this policy is that Americans now pay more for the same product, while Madagascar still doesn't import our goods. Nothing changes, except we're all a bit poorer. And this isn't just about vanilla. These tariffs have been applied broadly, sparking market chaos. The stock market has nosedived. The Dow dropped over 1,000 points, the S&P sank more than 3%, and the Nasdaq fell by nearly 4.5%. Economic uncertainty is spreading fast, and it's all fueled by a fundamental misunderstanding of how global trade works. Even Trump allies are sounding the alarm. Dave Portnoy, founder of Barstool Sports, tweeted about losing $7 million in a single day due to market instability. "It's Tariff City," he said. "I don't get it." Conservative commentator Ben Shapiro echoed the concern. He called Trump's trade policies probably unconstitutional, describing them as the biggest tax hike on Americans since 1968, one that hits both consumers and businesses alike. And let's be clear, trade deficits are not a sign of weakness. In fact, they're often a byproduct of a strong, fast-growing economy. When we're booming, we consume more, and that means importing more. That's what Kudlow, Trump's own former economic advisor, was trying to explain. Yet somehow, that reality has been lost on the man at the helm. Now, even Republican lawmakers are trying to limit Trump's power. A bipartisan group of 7 GOP senators, including Chuck Grassley and Mitch McConnell, are backing legislation that would require congressional approval for major tariffs. The bill, the Trade Review Act of 2025, aims to rein in Trump's ability to single-handedly disrupt global trade. The irony here is brutal. These very lawmakers spent years handing Trump unchecked power, despite warnings that he had a dangerously outdated view of economics. And now that the economy is bleeding, they're scrambling to apply a bandage to the gunshot wound they helped cause. Let's be honest, this was predictable. Trump had been threatening tariff wars since his campaign. His ignorance on trade wasn't a secret. But loyalty politics ruled the day, and now everyday Americans are paying the price. It's like letting a toddler sit alone in a room with a bucket of paint after he's been telling you for months that he wants to eat it. You can't act shocked when he finally does. So here we are, staring down a recession, not because of some natural disaster or unavoidable crisis, but because one man decided that running massive trade deficits is un-American, even though they're the norm for a thriving, consumption-driven economy like ours. This economic disaster wasn't fate, it was a choice. A bad one. And no amount of after-the-fact hand-wringing from Republicans will change that. Final note: if you value independent analysis and reporting that's not beholden to party politics or corporate sponsors, consider subscribing to the channel and newsletter. With the increasing pressure from tech platforms and political powers to silence dissenting voices, your support ensures these conversations can continue. Let's not reward economic sabotage with silence. Stay informed. Stay engaged. Let me know if you'd like a more formal or journalistic tone, or if you want a shorter version.